All right, so
same here, Lerato.
A little bit more of a positive day for the NSE, but only modest gains, 0.2%, turnover up 38%. But I think that's a good showing, good news in the longest time for the market, boosted by TPS, by Equity Bank, and also Kakuzi, a top gainer at 6.7%. Tell us what's been going on in the market and why these three counters.
Well, you have to look at it also from the point of view of our supposed holiday season is about to end. We still have about 1 or so weeks left in August, and traditionally we'll be moving back into the whole business of getting back up and about. Then also in terms of the counters that have been showing positive trend, now that the counters are differentiated, divided into various departments, there's also been a bit of performance on certain counters from what you notice are not just the foreign investors, but the domestic investors who've actually been looking at the positions and realizing that I don't have weighted in this type of market, I don't have this stock in a certain proportion, and this has happened by them trading actively. And some of these counters, you notice that traditionally they used to be shielded because they were in a bigger band group and you would not tell the rate of their performance because they were all lumped up together. But now with the new system of the NSE rating them in various categories according to the industry and what have you, it actually now brings them out much more open, and you can actually be able to sift through and look at what would be best for you to invest in.
All right, unfortunately though, some bearish sentiment for Safaricom, down 1.5%. Now, earlier in the week we heard the regulator talking about the monopoly that Safaricom enjoys, together with that of Telkom Kenya, and needing to curb their powers within the market. Do we have clarity what the CCK's intentions are?
Well, based by, they've just merely hinted at the intent of actually looking at Safaricom and Telkom being regarded as dominant players. One for Telkom in the fixed line and for Safaricom in the mobile telephony and the data. What they're looking at is more or less with the new CCK regulations that came into place to try and diversify the market. They categorize certain requirements that if you reached a particular threshold, you would again be regarded as a dominant player and hence face hefty penalties. Now, as an investor, you not want to be having stock of a company whereby they're actually penalized for being good at what they are. I mean, no one controls in terms of you being able to get your products out in the market and being very good at your marketing for that. But if it means being penalized for that, what happens is that eventually it will cut onto your bottom line, because a penalty will involve either one or two things: a monetary amount being deducted, or one reducing the amount of growth, which will also come to the bottom line. So that would also not augur well. And I believe Safaricom and Telkom actually voiced their concerns and say that, you see, what is the basis of us being regarded as a dominant player? If we're able to do something better, does that mean that you're a dominant player? So that is out for discussion and debate, and hopefully for the better, it will be beneficial to all parties concerned.
I think in hip-hop terminology that's called player hating. Let's flip it to the other side.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Let's move this to other issues as well within the telecom space. Airtel is not listed, but they've started to corrode the market share of some of the major operators, including Safaricom. They've been their Achilles heel, and now apparently formed an alliance with Access Kenya, which is listed, for access to provide them with key fiber optic technology and other infrastructure, for instance. Now, can you talk to us about this deal and whether or not it's really going to create a boost for Access?
Yeah, well, to tie back to the story we just talked about, the dominant player, if you look at Safaricom, let's just start with that for a moment. Data, they've been very big in data. They've actually were a step ahead. When everyone else had not much regard for it, they actually began pushing it. And from the testing of the 3G, being the first to release 3G onto the market, and now testing the 4G. Well, if you look at these two players, you have one, Airtel, which has the monetary capacity but does not have the data, and then you have Access Kenya, which has the ability to have data but lacks the capacity or terms of monetary capacity to actually match Safaricom one-on-one. But now when they come together, they will actually be merging each with their skills to try and compete with the dominant player in the market. And this is more or less what has been the basis of what would be bringing them together. Well, all I'll say is that the verdict is yet to come out. We're yet to see what will come out of it, because again, you have to understand there are two different models that are actually coming together to be able to operate together.
Scan Group down 5.8% thereabouts. They recently released first half results and their profits after tax were up 87%. With the battering we're seeing in the share price, is it profit taking or something else that we're just not aware of?
You've hit the nail on the head. Profit taking. It's one of the things that every one of the key investors look at. I mean, a company has given good results. There's always a dip in the share price because they're more selling than more buying, because you want to take advantage of just that profit taking. But because of that, now it creates less demand on the share, which now brings in the price to dip, and more or less over time it corrects itself, because there'll still be those who are interested, because the reasoning is, if they've been able to make money, looking at the situation it is right now, the market is not that good at the moment, but they're still able to make money. So you'd be looking at, I would want a part of that share. So over time, you'll notice that the price will correct itself because of the demand element of it.